Yo, salute to everybody here in the building, man. Welcome to episode 2 of 12 Personnel Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Graphk Raider. I got both my brothers here in the building. Wasted, what's good, man?
I am another co-host. Great and powerful waste of talent. How are you, sir?
Yes, blessings. And we got our brother, Sanjit T, in the building, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I saw all you guys in the comments in the AP video. It's crazy, man, because like we haven't had football, like real football, for so long. We're all just like tuned into a presser, So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So many interesting things coming out. Did you guys hear AP talk about Colton Miller and
yes.
I don't know, man. I felt kind of weird about that.
I'm concerned, bro. I'm concerned.
He was saying he's running around and all that good stuff, but he did have surgery, and he was kind of reiterating that, like, it sounds as though he ain't ready. And I don't know if you guys seen this, but this is just fresh off the presses right now. The Raiders have placed guard Jackson Powers Johnson on the active PUP list.
Ooh,
so real quick, there's no major injury. Salute to scout for Johnson. Raiders are being cautious with his lower body injury suffered in camp. So our rookie, second-round guy that we're hoping a lot out of this year has officially been placed on the active PUP list. So not only Colton Miller we have to worry about, we got Jackson.
Okay. Ian Rapport just put that out. Okay, I see that. I hadn't seen that, man, just until right now. That's crazy.
This is exactly, and I know you guys been getting on me about this, but Sanjit, when we did our pod together in Graphk, I've been saying this all offseason. Yeah. I am concerned. I am concerned because even if he's healthy week 1, that there's a learning curve here, bro. This is a guy that is transitioning to another position. He is a rookie, and he's starting off in the negative at this point, I feel.
Yeah.
Right? Listen, I'm telling you right now, everybody thinks that, them going out and getting Cody Whitehair was just for show.
Yeah.
This is a guy that they can plug into this offense that can go out there and give you some coherent minutes starting.
This could be a potential early round Tyree Wilson type situation where we got to be patient, and year 1 may be a learning curve and durability may be in it. Like, it's scary, man. This is scary. And like you said, Cody Whitehair, I mean, bro, if we got to throw him into the starting lineup, I'm going to be real nervous, Sanjit, about this offensive line, man. I'm going to be real, man.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. I think, chances are he'll pass the physical. He'll be ready to go within the next, 2 weeks. I think I had seen, I think it was like the Saints starting tackle. I forget what the guy's name is, but like they knocked him out for the entire season, right?
Yep.
This isn't one of those situations, right? This guy, he should be back pretty soon. But it is interesting still because
was it Ramczyk? I think it was Ryan. Was it Ryan Ramczyk?
Right.
Ryan Ramczyk. And I tell you what, I bet you they'd love to have Andrew as Pete now. Bang Zoom, everybody! Bang Zoom. I'm sorry.
Do you think, Sanjit, this can be a potential glaze at right guard?
That's an interesting point right there. But here's the thing that we do got to keep in mind, right? How long is this gonna? Is this going to go into the season? Is this like the first 4 weeks will he be out? Yeah. Because if it's one of those things where he's going to be out going into the season, they're going to have to fix the offensive line like come day 1 tomorrow, right? They'll start practicing with the first team group out there. If Powers Johnson is not ready to go, they're going to have to figure out and really think about long term how it's going to kind of impact us. Again, I don't think it should be that big of a deal. Wasn't he out there? Like as minicamp was kind of coming to an end. So did he get hurt from that point to now, or was he always just never 100% healthy?
He actually returned, I think, momentarily for OTAs. He was out there. Then he did media day and all that good stuff. I spoke to some of his people too, and it looks as though he's good. But once again, I think this is a situation where, look, we got 17 days, I believe, 16, 17 days in California. Be patient with them. Don't push them out there too fast. I think this really is just a situation where they just want to play it safe. But it's still nerve-wracking to know that this is a major anchor on the O-line. We're expecting a lot out of him, man.
Anytime you have a lower extremity injury with a guy that is, 300-pound guy, it's always a concern. And as the season progresses and as the offseason progresses, reps. That is how you kind of make that ascension to being an impactful rookie. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's reps. It's getting the speed of the game down, getting the scheme down, getting the technique down, especially because he's not a left guard by trade. right? He's played guard in college, but he got drafted as high as he did as a center. And he's going and he's transitioning to a new position, and he's a rookie. So it's a double whammy. And then the triple whammy comes with the injury concerns. I'm telling you right now, this is exactly why, and you know who I wanted in that draft. Yeah. You know, I'm a big linebacker guy. You know who I wanted.
Green Bay got lucky.
Listen, you know who I wanted. I wanted Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah.
Now, you know, a couple of lives ago, I said Edgerrin James, and I would take him as well. but the thing is, yo, and look, I love JPJ, but the thing is, your ability is your availability. I'm very, very concerned. I don't like Sanjit. I think you're making way too little of this, bro. This is huge, bro.
Well, real quick before Sanjit cooks, I want to say this. Salute to everybody here in the building, you guys. Do us a favor, wipe them feet, pay your bar tabs, hit that thumbs up on all 3 channels. Thank you to everybody watching on Sanjit's, Wasted's, my channel. If you guys can, man, subscribe to all 3. We're gonna be doing this all season long, you guys. Everybody that's new here, welcome to the 12 Personnel Podcast. We thank you so much. Sanjit, now fight back, King. Fight back.
It's not an attack on the great Sanjit. It just
let me instigate.
F out of here, Graph.
I'm not going to disagree, right? I don't disagree with Wasted. We definitely need to make sure Paris Johnson is not going to be, have injury issues, right? Because let's be honest, availability is definitely a big part of having success in the NFL.
Yeah.
He is young though, right? Paris Johnson is young. And I wonder how much, because he could get stronger. He could, he can start playing different than the way he plays, right? Because I don't like the way, the way Jackson Powers Johnson plays. He plays like Quentin Nelson. He plays like Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
These guys play physical. These guys lead with their helmet. They're going to put their helmet right into your shoulder pads, into your chest. They're going to try to, they're going to try hurting you. And the thing with Powers Johnson is that's not the only part of his game. The guy's actually a talented football player. Like, if you look at his technique, he does a really, really good job across the board. But I'm not concerned right now. I'm going to take a step back. I'm not concerned about it. I think he'll be good to go. And he's a good football player, right? Yes. Powers Johnson, I think by the end of this year, might already be our best offensive lineman. By the end of the year, right? Not at the beginning. At the end of the year, we might already be seeing Powers Johnson's our best offensive lineman. He's a top 5 guard. And I don't have any concern with Powers Johnson. Right? How old is he right now? I think he just turned 21, right?
Yeah, he's really young. Really young.
He's just legally able to drink.
But look, if this does become a problem, you guys, how do we look at this? Do we move Parham back to left guard, and do we have Glaze on the right side? Like, how does this look? Or do you go with one of the veterans?
You go with the vet. You go with the vet, and you get DJ Glaze ready, and you keep Dylan Parham in a position for him to be successful. He was better on that side. You don't put him back at left. You keep him over where he needs to be because he's becoming an elder statesman on his line. Right. Yeah. You want to put the inexperienced guy in between the 2 vets. I think that's the best case scenario if you do have to go with a younger guy. But I think right off the bat, you go with experience. You hope you can reach back into that bag where Cody Whitehair or Andrews Pete can go back into their Pro Bowl form for a few games until guys get ready.
Yeah. Well, we're a few weeks away, right, from football. We got some time for these guys to get ready. We are concerned though, you guys, about Colton Miller and his availability here because he is a major piece of this team, not just on the O-line, a major piece, period. Leader in the locker room, elder statesman on that O-line. We need him there. Jackson Powers Johnson on the PUP list early on. Once again, you guys, they're saying they're just playing this safe. We don't know. We shall see. Once again, I spoke to some of his people, and this is something that they're playing it safe with. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? And Wes, I've been speaking with his parents and some other people. I reached out to his agent. You know what I mean? This is a situation where we're playing this safe. We have a lot invested in this kid. He's a 2nd round guy. There was a lot of talent on the board in that 2nd round. So for us to take him there, it says a lot about how much we believe in him. But I'm gonna ask you guys this: the AP, presser. One thing that I was really shocked by was him saying, because historically, let me say in recent memory, we haven't played a lot of our starters in preseason. AP said all these guys are going to be ready to go during preseason. They're all getting reps. How do y'all feel about AP saying that even the vets are going to be out there letting loose in preseason?
It's needed, 100% needed, 100% needed. I understand these guys get together in a scrimmage, right? And I know they go through scrimmages and A lot of the time people will say, hey, if you're going through the scrimmage, there's no need to play in the preseason. In my opinion, right, you got to get that flow, right? Like in scrimmage, you're not out there on the football field in a scrimmage, and it's not, quarter one, 15 minutes, you're good to go. You start going out there and you play the entire first quarter, right? In scrimmage, oftentimes what it is, they're going to say, hey, we're going to put the ball at the 5-yard line and we're going to run, 12 plays of goal line. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, we're going to put the ball at the 50-yard line and we'll practice third down defense. All right, they're not just letting these guys go. They're not letting these guys get the feel of the game. I feel like actually going out there and playing and playing those preseason games matters. I don't know if someone's done the stats of this, but look at teams that play in the preseason and teams that don't, and let's see what the record is, right? I'm sure, especially in the first 4 games, you're better if you put that effort in preseason games.
Wasted, do you think that he meant more along the lines of on the offensive side of the ball? Because with Graham, we're pretty set in stone. We know what that looks like. We do have a couple of new players, new additions, Christian Wilkins, so on and so forth. But do you think it's because of the new scheme with Getsy in the fold? Because I thought Josh McDaniels should have did this long. It was so complicated. The system was complicated. He should have had those guys out there in preseason getting some reps and getting accustomed to it. Do you think this is more of a Getsy thing? And let's get those guys out there on the offensive side of the ball and get them more acclimated?
No, I think this is more of an old school football thing. Okay. He has a whole bunch of guys. Got Tom Coughlin is there, and Marvin Lewis is there. And when you really look at it, when you look at successful teams, as Sanjit said, Patrick Mahomes plays in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right. And Andy Reid, they don't do that over there in Kansas City. Yeah. Let me tell you something, man. My father used to tell me something when I was a kid, right? He said, you meet aggression with aggression. Right. And it still rings true today. You can't go out there and play this passive kind of brand of football in the preseason and then try to get out there in the regular season and hit on all cylinders. Yeah. I go back to the season with Josh Jacobs had his, NFL rush leading season. The one guy who was in that freaking Hall of Fame
game was Josh Jacobs.
He was running like a dog. He had his best season. Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm going to tell you something. Football is a game of repetition. You need those reps, man. You need to get them calluses on your body to get ready to get hit. You guys remember when you were a kid, you were playing football, and the first couple practices, you have all them raspberries and knots and stuff on your forearms or your shins and stuff. And by the middle of the season, you get that calcification in your body, and you don't even feel it when you hit somebody.
Yeah, facts.
You need that, bro. And I don't think that those joint practices and all of that stuff is really impactful. Playing against another team in a game scenario is impactful because it's not that you're looking at the result of the game. When you play preseason games, you're not looking at the result, the win and the losses. That doesn't matter. What you're looking at is individual battles within a team concept. How are you playing? If I'm going to evaluate these guys, how can I evaluate these guys in a team concept playing against another team? That's the best way to evaluate somebody. Mm-hmm. So I'm 100% for it, as long as they do it smart. Now, you don't want to have it like some of the old school coaches where they'll have guys playing into the third quarter in the second preseason game.
Well, you also, I look at it like this, y'all, and tell me if you disagree. I think that this is a situation where this QB battle was going to lead in the preseason. And for you to have Gardner out there and Aiden out there going against each other, I think it's just setting the precedent. If these guys are out there battling, we need to have our other starters out there as well. I think that's a major part. A piece of this is, bro, Aiden started for us last year. When Jimmy went down and all that good stuff. I think that if you're gonna have your starting quarterback out there and it's gonna be a real battle, I mean, why not have these other guys out there and let them? Because we already know it's gonna be vanilla. We know it's gonna be vanilla, right? But you're right, wasted repetition. It's all what it boils down to. Go ahead, Sanjit.
I think last year Jimmy G played like 10 snaps or something preseason, but I don't think we had our starting offense out there. I think it was just Jimmy G. I don't think Vontae Adams was out there. I don't think Jacoby Myers may have played. But even our offensive line, I think it was some of the backup guys. I don't think Cole Miller played. But I do like the fact that AP has a goal. He knows what he wants, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna play some football in the preseason. It makes preseason more interesting for us as well, right? Because it sucks, man. Like that third or fourth preseason game, right? It used to be 4, but now it's 3. That game always sucked because no one ever played. But I think that's changed a little bit now where teams are using that third preseason game as like the week to get your guys to kind of go out there and prepare.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting offseason, man. I think the Raiders really have something going this season.
Sanjay, I know you put up a video and I know you talked, briefly about What's going on out there in Orange County. I haven't talked to you yet, Waste. I know you haven't done a video on it yet. What's your guys' take on, the Raiders training camp? We got slapped with some restrictions out there because of, the Chargers being a local team, the Rams being a local team. They didn't want our fans to be out there. It looks like local media in Los Angeles that cover the Raiders are not going to be eligible to be out there to cover the Raiders. I know Tashawn's going to be out there, Vic Tafer, some Bay Area guys. What's your takes on this thus far? Because look, man, it's kind of nasty, man, because they know we're the most popular team down there. Right. And, now we can't promote that we're down there. What's your guys' feelings on that?
For me, look, man, they did the same thing to the Saints. A lot of people don't realize that. The Saints are going to be in that same area too. Yeah. The only team who's exempt from that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. I mean, look, man, what it represents to me, it is a small fan base energy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You know how, like, they say, the other kind of energy? That's what it is. This small fan base energy. They're very, very insecure. They always have been. That is the reason why when the Raiders were trying to go back to Los Angeles before we went to Las Vegas and their infinite wisdom, I'm glad we went to Las Vegas. It's better. It's better for us financially. And now the Raiders can be solvent and viable in free agency in a way that they probably wouldn't be in California. But the thing is, when you start looking at it, the Rams were threatened. They had a choice. Do you want the Chargers or do you want the Raiders? And for the Chargers, they had to leave a city. Mm-hmm. They could have left everything as it was, but no, they were like, we do not want the Raiders in our building because they will take that damn building over like we do every time we play there. So this year, the Raiders have we got 2 more home games. Yes, we're playing there twice, and we're going to take that place over, and they're going to see it in real time. So F them.
You know what's interesting about them doing this entire thing is, so I think Raiders media can be there, right? If you're in Las Vegas, but I think it's like the big shows that are in LA, right? So like, and I'm not sure if this is fact of this is how it is, but like, for example, like FS1, Undisputed, I think those shows are all in LA, right? I think they're all in Hollywood, so they can't go and cover the Raiders, which is kind of stupid. But if you guys think about it, right? So like, when the Chargers and the Rams do their training camp, there's so much stuff that comes out from those two teams. There's a lot of videos, a lot of footage. The big shows are always talking about those two teams because they're able to actually attend their camp.
Yeah.
It makes it harder with the Raiders because, if you're in Vegas, well, that's a little bit further away. But now I guess they're restricting us. And I think, was it both teams or was it just the Rams that restricted it?
Both. And every club has an exclusive home territory that extends 75 miles in all directions. Okay. So that's what it is. But both teams denied us. And Mark Davis actually spoke on that. He was like, hey, but they have the right to do so. It is what it is.
God bless him. If they want to hear Jim Harbaugh singing He's a Jolly Good Fellow, God bless him.
Yo, real quick, also, you guys, the Raiders also have placed Darian Butler, linebacker, UDFA out of Arizona State, on the PUP list as well. He's still trying to get back from that knee injury that he suffered last preseason. And also another guy, Sanjit, that I was really high on, our guard, Jake Johanning, another UDFA that I thought that can be a sneaky practice squad kind of guy that can potentially make the active roster. He's been placed on the PUP list also. He's dealing with a lower body injury as well, just like Jackson Powers Johnson. So there's 3 guys that were placed on the PUP list today.
Yeah, Jake Johanning's interesting because we have, I think we have 5 rookie offensive linemen. Which, when was the last time we had 5, or is it 6? It's actually 6 rookie offensive linemen. When was the last time we had that many rookie offensive linemen?
Oh, yeah, we got Coker, too, out of TCU.
Right. We got Coker, Powers Johnson, Glaze, Clark Barrington, Will Putnam, and Jake Johanning. So,
the Clemson center. Right. Yeah, oh, damn.
I mean, the O-line's deep this year, man. Like, and I know most of those guys aren't going to make the team, right? But, like, you never know, right? Usually, especially with the interior guys, you can see it right away, right? If a guy has some upside, you can see it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening. Are you if Powers Johnson's out, do you guys think it's going to be Cody Whitehair or is it going to be Andres Pete?
I think it's going to be Cody Whitehair because of the familiarity with Lou Getsy. I think that he's going to go with him. He's had him out there, the past few seasons. I think just the familiarity there. I think they would go with Whitehair. I think they would.
I think Whitehair and also the thing that Pete offers is that swing tackle. And I don't know if Cody Whitehair at this point would be a guy that you can lean on to play tackle if somebody goes out.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of reserve Pete because Pete is a guy that can play everything else with center.
Yeah.
So, and with Whitehair has played center and he's played guard. He hasn't really played a lot of tackle lately.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still physically able to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably go with Cody Whitehair because he can be that coach on the offensive line, right? Because, when you get these offensive guru guys, they need people that can speak the language.
Yeah.
So he has a guy in the skill position group as in Devontae Adams who has played in this offense. And he has this guy up in the trenches. And they can be those guys who can kind of disseminate that message to the rest of the team. And I think it should work out pretty well if they do it that way. I'm
actually happy that we have Cody Whitehair and Andres P because these are two guys that are veterans, former Pro Bowl guys, right? This isn't an Alex Bars and Greg Van Roten situation. Like those are two guys who are journeymen who's been all over the place, right? These guys have played at a high level. And I'm not expecting those guys to return to the form that they once were. It's the same thing with Michael Gallup. The injury, that's tough to overcome. But I would rather, I'm a lot more comfortable, you guys, knowing that we have two former Pro Bowlers in the building. And this isn't a situation where we have to rely on a Bars or a Greg Van Roten, you know what I mean, to come in and be that spot starter if need be. Salute to Wilder as well. I wouldn't want FS1 to cover us. They always hate. I mean, who doesn't hate on us, Wilder? I mean, we're the most hated team in the media because they know that Sanjit's going to get on screen and scream at him. They know that Wasty's going to get on screen and scream at him. They know that I'm going to get on screen and scream at him. And all of our other fellow content creators are going to jump at it. And next thing you know, that equals clicks. And it gives them exactly what they want. We're the most passionate fan base in the NFL. So, every year we give them exactly what they want. Salute to the chat, you guys. You already know. Get your questions in, y'all. We're going to have some fun today. Q&A. We are finally in the building. The veterans reported today. The Rooks are already there in the building. Yeah, man, we're in Costa Mesa. It's time.
So guys, really quickly, man, to give some to just harken back to the Cody Whitehair thing. Mm-hmm. Cody Whitehair last year, he had some positional pivots. Last year, he played 666 snaps at left guard, played 87 snaps at center, and 34 snaps at right guard. He played a grand total of 787 snaps, 454 pass blocking snaps, 333 run blocking snaps. He had 2 penalties, 3 sacks allowed, 4 hits allowed, and 22 total pressures allowed last year, right? So he wasn't terrible. He was horribly graded by PFF. I know Sanjit is not the biggest PFF guy. But,
I'm not either. I hate it.
Yeah, but those numbers right there are not horrible.
Yeah. Right? But look at the talent around him as well. You have to look at the rest of the O-line that was around him, Wasted. That was a bad O-line, and they still ran the football effectively with Getsy calling the shots. That O-line that was not great. And don't get me wrong, they have a few anchors out there on that O-line, but they dealt with some injuries as well in the run game on their O-line. So for even him to even grade out there says a lot about who Cody Whitehair can be.
Yeah, there are some injuries for sure with the Bears. I'll be honest, guys. I don't like Cody Whitehair. I'm not a fan.
Talk that shit, Benji.
I know, it's good that he can play center, he can play left guard, he can play right guard, and all that's great. But can you play it well? Can he push guys around, right? Because from when I watched Cody Whitehair, he kind of reminds me of Andre James, where both guys kind of get bullied by bigger and stronger guys. Cody Whitehair is a great player to have, and this is why Ryan Poles kept Cody Whitehair around for as long as he did, was because of the fact that Cody Whitehair is a versatile football player. He's a veteran. He's smart, right? He's kind of like Greg Van Roten, right? Very similar. But I don't think, if Paris Johnson misses time and Colton Miller is healthy, I would hope that they put Andres Pete in at left guard over Cody Whitehair. I'm not a fan of Cody Whitehair. Having Cody Whitehair, Andre James, Dylan Parham on the inside is basically what we had last year, right? Yeah. And the interior offense line sucked last year, right? We had to help them a lot last year, right? And I would hope that the Raiders offense line is better this season. And I think Andres Pete allows you a guy that could be in one-on-one situations with defensive tackles. You don't got to help him as much because he's strong, he can anchor, he's long. I hope Cody Whitehair does not start over Andres Pete, right? And I don't even know if I would keep Cody Whitehair on the roster.
Ooh, wow! Whoa! Sanjit, coming in hot. What's going on here? He just went full Sanjit on Cody Whitehair.
No, but I love this because everybody kills Sanjit all the time for loving every offensive lineman. Like I hear that all the time. Like, oh, he always loves this guy or he loves this guy. The only 2 guys that I've heard is you're not that big on Mumford. I know that. I know you're not that big of a fan. You never talk bad about him, but it's funny, man. Hey, I mean, Cody Whitehair, like, there's a reason why he was out there. There's a reason why he came in cheap. You know what I mean? Like, let's not act as though this isn't the same guy that. I mean, what do you have? 3 Pro Bowls or was it 1? Andres P has 1.
One Pro
Andres
Bowl.
P has 3 then. Andres P has 3.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I root for Cody Whitehair because of his last name, Cody Whitehair.
There you go.
Look, old man wasted, baby.
Yo, it says Sanji scorched him. Now he's Cody Blackhair. Salute to the chat, y'all. How we feeling, man? You know, we're here now. Football's kind of a reality at this point. You know what I mean? Guys were reporting. We know the pads haven't come on yet. You know, they're out there getting acclimated with each other. The rooks, the veterans are out there. How are we feeling about, you know, just football being back, Sanjit? And what are you most looking forward to right now with these 17 days of no distractions? That's what I love, AP, what he said in that presser, right? They can't go back home and run off to their wives, to their kids, to their friends. Look, you're out there in California, you are stuck there with your teammates, your fellow coaches, and all that. Like, what are you looking most forward to, and how are you taking in right now this whole moment of football officially being back?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I feel like over the past 2 regimes, you know, John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, I feel like one of the things with those regimes was the mindset mentality was never, hey, we're going to come out, we're going to be physical, we're going to hit people, we're going to hit each other. Right. I feel like that was never the mindset. That was never what was being pushed. Yeah. I feel like for the first time in a number of years, like AP literally told us that, hey, we're going to be hitting each other. We're going to be tackling. We're going to be bringing people down. Right. We're going to be physical. We're going to be going full speed against each other. Mm-hmm. Right. Like AP made sure to let everybody know this is what's kind of expected. I feel like over the past 2 regimes, we didn't get that mindset. You know, so for me, I'm excited to watch. You know, I'm excited to watch Thayer Munford battle it out with Max Crosby. Right, I'm excited to watch maybe his backup come in and see what they can do against Max Crosby. What about Tyree Wilson versus Malcolm Kuntz? You know, which cornerback can make Devontae Adams' life hard, if any? Right, probably none. But you know, which cornerback can actually get out there and do some good things? I don't remember who it was, but Devontae Adams was talking very, very positively about one of the corners last year. I don't remember who it was exactly. It may have been Jacorian Bennett, or it might have been Nate Hobbs. Or it might have been Sam Webb. I don't really remember. But, like, you know, I'm excited to watch which guys can kind of come out this season and really get after it. There's a lot of battles across the board. If our quarterback battle is up in the air, then every other battle should be up in the air as well. Yeah. Right? Like Dalton Wagner should come in and say, hey, I want to be the starting right tackle. Mm-hmm. Right. And then Trey Tucker should say, hey, I want to take Jacoby Myers' job. I want to play more snaps than him. Yeah. Right. And I want to see that across the board. And I'm excited for it, man. The mentality is different.
Now, I see the different answers. He definitely talked about Jacorian Bennett last season, but he also gave his flowers to Hobbs as well. And then I was hearing other people saying that Sam Webb was performing pretty well out there early on also. So, I mean, Sanjay, I think you were right in every aspect. You know what I'm saying? But wait, how you feeling right now, man?
Man, listen, what I want is I want competition, just like Sanjay said, man. I mean, look, for years and years and years, the Raiders have tried to do things the media's version of what's popular and what's right. I think the Raiders having their own identity, and that's a big word that AP spoke today. He didn't speak much, but the one thing I heard was identity. Yeah. The fact that he is establishing an identity. When you talk about what it is to be a Raider, right? Height, weight, speed, big, fast, strong, physical, right? He has an archetype for what kind of player he wants and what kind of team he wants, right? Yeah. And it's not going to waver based off of what the media says. It's not going to waver based off of, hey, because you got some coaches who do what needs to be done because it needs to be done and they believe in themselves. You have other coaches who do things because they don't want to get fired. Yeah. Him taking this approach with the Raiders is something that's very, very positive. It reminds me a lot of, how Mike Tomlin came into the Steelers regime. Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin was authentically him when he took over the Steelers. He was not trying to be Bill Cowher. He was not trying to be Chuck Noll. He was not trying to be who everybody wanted him to be. And he's been criticized for it along the way. And he's been laughing all the way to the playoffs every damn year. Yeah. When I see Antonio Pierce have the wherewithal and the confidence to kind of bring his program into this building, no matter what anyone says, it's something that makes me very, very hopeful for the next season.
Facts. And Matt, I love that you brought that up because that was one of the next things I was going to talk about. He preached consistency. You know what I'm saying? Even if you win and lose some ball games, he mentioned, sometimes you're going to go through a dark place where you may lose a few games. You know what I mean? But just consistency. Go out there, play hard. You know, he mentioned, you know, there's only been one team that's been undefeated, you know what I mean, in ever. You know what I mean? But would it be great to do that? Yes, but he preached consistency. And another thing that he mentioned a few times was Marvin Lewis. Once again, multiple times. Another guy that he's going to lean on, another bright mind that's been pretty successful at the NFL level. I'm not going to act like he won a Super Bowl, but he's been in and out of the playoffs with Cincinnati. He had, 15 years as a head coach, I believe, out there. He's had some nice runs. But to have him in the building, Joe Philbin on the left, on the offensive side, we got some proven guys out there. I'm loving this. And Ramp, I love that you brought this up because I want to ask my brother. I mentioned this to you, Waste. I'm going to answer that question. I got you, Ramp. Let's have some fun. I want to ask you guys rankings because all this week, everything that's been going around the Raiders is rank last in this, rank last in that, right? I'm not going to talk about the ESPN ranking. No need to. I touched on that yesterday. There's no real need for it. But I want to ask you guys, let's go through these rooms, the running back room, the O-line. I want to ask you guys is your opinion on where we rank, top 10, top 15. This is going into the season. You guys cool with that? I'm gonna start.
It's you know what? It's going to be pretty hard to do that.
Hey, well, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Wasted. I'm gonna start with you. The running back room. Running back. Since you said it's gonna be pretty hard to do, motherfucker, it's your turn. The running back room.
The running back room is a lower third group until proven otherwise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're a group that's going to be down in the late 20s, and the only reason why they wouldn't be in the like 31, 32, whatever, is because I see that glimmer of talent from Zamir White. And I saw it towards the end of the season. And what I'm doing is I'm taking that microcosm of the season when he was the featured back. And I'm that's the only thing I can go off of. Everyone else up and down this roster, as far as running backs go, are unproven guys. And Madison has been mid a lot throughout his career. So, on paper, do I think potentially it could be a top, 18 to 15 unit if Zamir White goes crazy and what I've seen from him physically translates in real time? Yeah. But just based off of the resume, bottom 28, 27 kind of guy.
This may be a homer answer. I'm going with 10 to 15 because Luke Getsy loves to run the football. These past 2 seasons in Chicago, he's had one of the highest, rushing teams in the NFL. I'm going 10 to 15. I believe in Zamir White. I think,
Get out of here, man. How you want to say 10 to 15? 10 to
15, baby. 10 to 15. Sanjit, what you got?
I'm gonna agree with Wasted, man. I think bottom third until they prove it. Alexander Madison's not that good, right? Like if he was good, he would have taken the Vikings job. Vikings offense line's a lot better than the Raiders, right? It's a lot better. They have, in fact, Christian Darrisaw just got
one of the ones.
$28 million for Christian Darrisaw a year. It's crazy we took Alex Leatherwood over him, man. I can't get over that. That's such a shitty.
You were major on Darrisaw that year. You talked about him left and right. So I got to give you your flowers on that.
In my opinion, offensive linemen are easy to see, right? You can see it in the draft if they're going to be good or not. Some guys might struggle at tackle, and then they'll convert to guard and they'll be great. Like Tevin Jenkins, right? Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's going to be a stud."
Yeah.
But we knew that he might not be a stud at tackle, but he's still one of the best guards in the NFL. Samuel Cosby's another guy, came out that same year. Loved him. I think he went in the second round. Mm-hmm. He struggled at tackle for 2 to 3 years. Last year he went to guard. Some people are saying he's an offensive guard.
Yep.
Regardless. The Vikings had a great offensive line, and Madison struggled behind that offensive line. In my opinion, and if he's not I don't think he's gonna be the guy. That means Zamir White has to be the guy, right? And he has to be able to show us. Zamir White had he did finish the season strong, but up until he finished the season strong, he sucked for pretty much his entire career up to that final point.
But it takes reps though, Sanjit. It takes reps to be able to do it.
He sucked throughout his career. Come on, Sanjit.
Whoa, Wasted. We have to all be honest. We all killed Zamir White.
Absolutely.
We all killed it.
Look.
Whoa. We didn't kill him. We said, why is he not playing? So if he's not playing, there must be.
I said he had no vision, and I talked about him.
Look, do you guys remember when Josh Jacobs held out and everybody was like, all right, man, he's going to hold out. Screw him, whatever. We'll be good with Zamir White as we go forward, right? Zamir White's the guy. And that was in the preseason. He sucked in the preseason. And everybody was like, all right, let's get Josh Jacobs back in here, right? Zamir White doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I shouldn't say he sucked. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe he didn't have the opportunities as Wasted is saying, because I think that's factually correct as well. Plus, the offensive line wasn't great at that point. But I'm not going to be sold on Zamir White until he proves it. You know, Zamir White's not Nick Chubb, right? No. You can see that right away. He is not Nick Chubb. Yeah. Zamir White's not Saquon Barkley. He's not Bijan Robinson. He's not that, right? What is he? We're going to find that out this season, right? Because
maybe Derrick Henry, baby.
Hopefully. That's the best.
A baby Derrick Henry. He's going to just boom.
Yep. Okay, so boom, like boom. Lower 20s with the running back group. Okay.
And I want to say this. There's a lot of people who like to laud Getsy's rushing offense.
I know Justin Fields. I get it.
All right. So let
even when he went down, they ran the football great.
Let me cook. We don't have a running back under center.
Even when Fields went down, they ran the football.
Bro, 1,200 yards at quarterback, bro. Get the F out of here.
They ran the football effectively. Dante Foreman ran the football down our throats last year. Let's not act as though he didn't go out and put like 2 touchdowns up on us.
Sanjit, can you do me a favor, bro? All right, I think I'm gonna do it. Right. I need to figure out when we talk about this rushing offense how much of that has to do with Justin Fields being a one-read Vince Young quarterback. Like, don't poo-poo that graph like that's nothing, bro. Don't poo-poo that, bro. This dude was taking off and making games, especially at the end of games, because Justin Fields' numbers look a lot better based off of the fact that they were getting boat raced a lot of this season, and then at the end of the season during garbage time, he'll take off for a 40, 50-yard run.
Let's look and see what their running game looked like with Tyson Baguette calling the shots.
Hold on. Can you pull that up right there? Okay, look.
Ty, appreciate you on the file. I'll put it back up on the screen in a second, brother. I got you.
So
Tyler Badgett.
Here's the numbers, not including quarterbacks. All right, so this is straight up just
12
out the quarterback, 13. Just straight up run plays. The Bears ranked 13th, so that's not terrible. But I think people are
wasted. Yes.
Hey, listen. I asked for the information. I got it. Get the F out of here with this nonsense.
It's your show, sir. Go ahead and do the
I mean, it's not terrible, I guess, right? Let's look at quarterbacks real quick. So with quarterbacks, it's probably a lot higher. So 7th with quarterbacks. And in terms of rush yards, obviously Fields had the 2nd most rush yards last year.
Yeah. But they're better than a middle of the pack rushing team, even without Justin Fields on the field.
Right. And that's one of the things to look forward to, right? And that too, like the Bears' offense line was hurt last year. Like I think they're gonna have a really good offense line this year, but they had a rookie at right tackle. They paid, I think, like $35 million to their right guard. He was hurt, I think, or he had I think someone in his family passed away, so he didn't play for a lot of the season. Cody Whitehair was their starter, right? So, that's a bad offense line,
And their starting running back was down.
Right.
He was down as well.
The Cody Whitehair slander must stop today. I am hurt by this. Cody Whitehair, you have a home at Raider Nation Unlimited. I like Cody Whitehair.
Look at Cody, man. All right, let's get off the run because we'll talk about this all damn day. So I got 10 to 15. You guys got in the 20s, right, with the run game until proven otherwise. And I respect that. All right, the quarterback room. I'm gonna be honest. I got 25 to to the end because at the end of the day, they need to prove themselves. Aiden needs to show that he can continue to do or will continue to build on what he was doing at the end of the season last year. We already know what we have in Gardner Minshew. I'm not going to be the homer and say that Aiden is going to just already. I can't do that. I'm going to say 25 to the end range. I'm not going to say the worst quarterback room because you can look at the Minnesota Vikings. They got Sam Darnold, who's a journeyman. They have JJ, who's not ready yet. I mean, it looks like Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter in New England because, their young pup is not ready to go. The Denver situation. There's other teams that have worse quarterback situations than we do. So I'm going to say in that 25 range. Sanjay, what you got, man?
I agree with that. I mean, we got to be honest, too. Our quarterback situation doesn't look good, but there's upside, right? For this year, especially, we have more upside in our quarterback room than all the rookie quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a rookie quarterback, you're mostly struggling. CJ Stroud, exception. Justin Herbert, exception. Most quarterbacks are Josh Allen and Bryce Young. Yeah. Right. So I think this year our ceiling's a lot higher. I agree, bottom 5 to 7, but I think if we can get top 15 quarterback play, which is possible, right? A lot of that comes down to the offensive coach, the quarterback that's in there, the players around them. The Seahawks made the playoffs 2 years ago or last year with Geno Smith, or whatever year it was. Geno Smith wasn't that good most of his career, but the offensive coach made him a little bit better. So There's upside, right? But for sure, bottom 7.
Matt, he was an alternate, and you have to remember the year prior, even Derek Carr went to the Pro Bowl after having a terrible season. Like the Pro Bowl it's a shit show at this point. I don't even look at the Pro
value, bro. Stop using Pro Bowls for anything. There's no value in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and shout out to Matt Marinovich with the best mullet on YouTube. Business in the front, party in the back.
We got anything else to add? I think we all can kind of agree on this quarterback we wasted, right?
No. You know what? I'm going to disagree.
Ooh, okay, let's go.
AOC MVP incoming. Shout out to Demotion. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding around. Like, listen, at this point, I have us in the mid-20s because of the fact that Gardner Minshew, if you look at as backups go, right? If he is our backup, he's one of the higher end backups.
Yes.
So that would be the only reason why, right? But the difference between the starter and the backup on this team is a very, very de minimis amount of talent, right? So that's what makes it bad, right? Because Joe Burrow is a lot better than his backup, right?
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes is eons better than his backup. With this team, the backup and the starter, it's like a push.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes into play. But we're not worse because we have a guy who has been and has some success in the National Football League on his roster as a backup. So I gotta give us like probably high 20s, maybe 20, 21.
Okay. O-line, I'm going 10 to 15 range. I think we're going to be, starting off with where we're looking. I think we can build on what we had last year. I think we can be a better unit this year. I think there's more talent across the O-line. I think Mumford's going to have a big year for us. I do believe in JPJ if he's healthy. I think Andre James, this scheme change is going to be really good for Andre James. And if Colton is healthy, I think we can be even in the top 10. But right now with the injury, the durability, I'm going 10 to 15 range with the O-line. What you got, Sanjit?
I'd say about 13 through 18 makes about sense, but they do have to prove it because there's easily a chance they're like 20 to 30, right? It could happen, right? It's not guaranteed that the offense line is going to be good this season.
Yeah,
but we should be better than we were last season. Obviously, the players are upgraded. Munford's way more experienced now going into his third year. Dylan Parham should be better. I think we should be better this season for sure. I don't think there's any question about it.
What you got wasted?
We got to go. See, the thing is that are we going from a glass half full perspective or a glass half empty perspective, right? Because if we are going off the premise that we're going full potential, everybody reaches their potential that they have, right? Thayer Munford is a guy that is a starting right tackle.
Yeah.
Dylan Parham doesn't take a step back. JPJ plays out of his mind and doesn't look like a rookie. Colton Miller's 100% healthy.
Yeah.
If Andre James is Andre James, who, in this league is a top 10 center in this league.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the premise that we are operating off of, we have top 18 line.
Okay.
In reality, we are a bottom third offensive line. And the reason why is because of the things I just stated. Colton Miller being healthy is alarming.
A bottom 3?
I said a bottom third. A bottom third.
Oh, okay. I'm like, God damn, bro. Like,
it's a bottom third unit because you have a rookie, you have an unproven tackle. And look, I love Thayer Munford, but the proof is not in the pudding yet. He is not really, he has to go out there and win and play that, right? Then you have a situation where you have a JPJ who we're all projecting to start, and we don't even know whether he's even going to win that job.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that for a fact. With us as fans, right, and pundits for the Raiders, we're like, he's a second round pick. He's going to start. There's a great chance that he might not start all year.
Yeah, no, you're right
for that job. So it's like, all right, if I'm dealing with reality, it's a bottom third unit, bro.
Okay, and I think a lot of this boils down to, can James Craig work with this unit? Because last year his O-line was in the Super Bowl. They definitely protected Brock Purdy last year, and they didn't have the best O-line, Sanjit. Let's not act like the Niners had the greatest O-line. I'm not going to say they had a bad O-line. I'm just saying that, they dealt with some injuries over there as well, and they worked with what they had, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Now, they did have a Debo. They did have a Brandon Ayuk. They had a lot of talent around.
They have a Trent Williams. They got the best tackle in football over there. What are we talking about?
I understand that, but what I'm saying is I think a lot of this relies on James Craig being able to bring out the best of this unit.
But we also do got to be fair, right? James Craig is not the offensive line coach. He's the assistant offensive line coach, right? I think Chris Forrester, the 49ers actual offensive line coach, I think he gets all the credit for how good that unit is.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the 49ers, they have a great scheme with Kyle Shanahan. And people don't know who Chris Forrester is, but Chris Forrester has been with Shanahan for years. He was part of that 2013 Washington Redskins offensive or coaching staff in general that had like Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Raheem Morris, who's now the head coach of the Falcons. Chris Forrester was part of that same that group. The 49ers will replace whoever at right guard or right tackle. They'll replace whoever at center, and there will be a good offense line regardless because this is really, really, really legit. And I hope our offense line coach can get to that same point where the guys don't matter. Because to a point, the best offensive lines are coached by the best offensive coaches. Right? The Browns had Bill Callahan. The Eagles had Jeff Stoutland. The Falcons had Dwayne Ledford. Joe Philbin was with the Cowboys from 2020 to 2022.
And now we got him in the building. So
the best offensive line coaches have the best offensive lines in the NFL. That's how it works. Right. So for the Raiders, if our offensive line coach is legit, we'll have a good unit.
Yeah,
right?
because a lot of that
I didn't know that Craig was the assistant. I thought that he was actually running. I mean, I know Shanahan runs the show regardless.
Right.
I thought that he was the official O-line coach. I didn't know that he was an assistant out there.
No, he was the assistant. So Chris Forrester, I think, is the run game coordinator as well. So
okay,
run game coordinator is what matters, right? So so I'm sure James Craig did a lot of the offensive line coaching duties.
Yeah.
If you're the run game coordinator, it's a whole nother step to how the offense line essentially flows.
But see, this is what we got to look at, right? It's a scheme, yes, right? Zone blocking scheme, whatever, you know what I mean? It's more so about player development. Yeah. Like the thing that we look at, especially with the Dallas Cowboys and Joe Philbin, I'm going to look at that construct. When Joe Philbin was over there, they developed another Pro Bowl lineman. They They already had, Smith. They already have the who's been the guy who's been the best guard in football for Martin. Yeah. This guy's he's getting older now. He's no longer the best guard in football.
For a long time, he was definitely one of the ones.
He's the Rock of Gibraltar there, right? Yeah. They've developed another Pro Bowl line.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing that we got to look at. Is Joe Philbin and Craig and these guys that are in the building able to develop the talent we have in the building? Because we have a lot of raw talent in the building as far as from a physical standpoint. So this line could really take a step forward if they're developing these guys. And that's what I'm looking at more than anything.
Salute DB, salute to Ty on the donations. We appreciate you guys. As always, DB, have fun in me and Sanjit's hometown of Sacramento, man. Salute to you. Let's get to the wide receiver room real quick, you guys. I think that this is going to be a top 10 unit. I think it could be big. I think it could be higher than that, but I'm going to go top 10. We got one of the best in the game, and Jacoby's one of the most underrated guys, and Trey Tucker's going to take that step this upcoming season. I'm going top 10.
I agree, 100% agree. Top 10. There's just no way. Too much talent across the board.
Yeah,
you throw tight ends with the receivers, right?
Yeah, you have it, and you got those two guys as well. I think it's a clear no-brainer.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you started with running backs, you went to quarterbacks, you went to O-line. Those three units are kind of questionable, but our receivers are not questionable. We're going to be legit with those guys.
Yeah, it's hard to not have a top 5 unit when you have a top 2 player at his position.
Fact, 100% fact.
Yeah. Let's get to the defense side of the ball. We're going to fly through this because I got a few more things I want to bring up before we get out of here. The D line, top 5. I don't really think I need to say anything else. I don't know if y'all agree. I'm going top 5 with the Christian Wilkins ad. That's just it's top 5.
Move on.
Sanjit, you agree?
Top two.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, come on, dude. You got a top 4 guy at his position on that line.
Yeah.
You got 2 guys that are top 4 guys at their position, and you have a budding star on the other side and a physical freak. You got the football Optimus Prime on the coming up that's a high draft pick. What are we talking about here? And Big John Jenkins too.
I like that.
Big framed even.
Yeah. And Adam Butler as well, who had a phenomenal year for us last year. Linebacker group, I'm gonna go 15 to 20. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We got Spillane, love him. He dealt with some injuries last year. He fought through. Divine Diablo contract year, hoping that he can step up this upcoming season. We talked about Luke Masterson. Me and Sanjit are hiring and Wasted doesn't really care too much about him. Tommy Eichenberg, I'm gonna go 15-20 range right now in terms of our linebacker. And I'm only doing that because I'm not in love with this linebacker room. I like it, but that D line is gonna help them out a lot this upcoming season. So I'm gonna go 15-20 range.
Yeah, linebackers are hard to measure, man. There's I don't even know who has the best linebacker unit in the NFL. Like you don't know. It's so hard to measure. Yeah. I agree. I think they're going to be a good unit, right? As solid as it gets. I think that's right where they're going to be at. The key thing will be, are they going to be able to force turnovers?
Yeah.
That's going to be the difference in if the Raiders can win more games just based off of those 2 or 3 guys that are in there rotating in, if they can each force 2 to 4 turnovers.
Yeah. I agree. I think Divine Diablo needs to have a big year for us this year. And I'm talking about not just in counting up all these tackles from behind. I'm talking about in coverage. I want to see Divine Diablo show some of that safety qualities that he had at the collegiate level. You know what I mean? So, but what you got, Wasted?
Look, I have us being a middle of the road unit if they hold serve, but if Divine Diablo can take that step forward and they can develop an Amari Burney or Tommy Eichenberg, this unit can be one of the better linebacking units in the National Football League. See, you have a situation in the NFL where the linebacker is becoming the running back of the defense.
Yeah,
people are not prioritizing it, and when you have a special linebacker in your building, it shows. Mm-hmm. Fred Warner and stuff, guys like that. These are guys, they stick out, bro. Right. Like when we were growing up watching this game, there was, a myriad of linebackers to where, even guys that weren't like Pro Bowl guys that were just solid, great linebackers, guys like Brian Cox and people like that, right? Pause. But the thing is that you don't see that much anymore. Yeah. You don't see that much anymore. And the way Spill played last year, he played at a top 10 level, I think, for his position. Right? So if he can hold serve and Divine Diablo can kind of meld that natural ability that he has with playing faster and being in the right place, this can be a special unit.
And we got depth at the linebacker position now. That's the thing I feel like we haven't had in recent memory. Like, you got Tommy Eichenberg, a guy that can come in and play some reps in year one. You have a Luke Masterson, like we talked about, last week on the pod. And then, like you said, Amari Burney. Amari Gaynor. What do we have at the UDFA out of North Carolina? There's a slew of other guys that can potentially come in and give us some reps. But I think that it's more of a middle-of-the-pack unit at this point. We don't have that Fred Warner. I mean, who does? You know what I'm saying? And I like what East Coast said. Probably be the Texans or the Packers that have the best linebacker unit. But I think Fred Warner, it hurts me to say this, is the best linebacker. So I'm going to go with the Niners having the number 1 linebacker just because they have Fred Warner. He's just that good.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, there you have it. I'm going to go corner room right here. And people may be upset with this, but I'm going to go probably 25 to 30 range. And that's only because of Jack Jones. Like everybody else, I'm concerned about Jacorian Bennett, Brandon Faison, Sam, whoever we have out there. Richardson in year one, I don't know if he's going to be ready. Devonshire, I love his game, but I don't know if it's going to translate in year one. I'm going to go 25 to 30 range. And I'm only giving us that kind of credit because we have Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs in the building.
What do you think, Wasted?
Look, man, I'm going to go 18. And you know why?
Ooh, okay.
I think that the Raiders – because, listen, most of the time when you go through preseason, there's always a move that's surprising. I think this is the room where the Raiders go outside of the building and plug a hole and bring in a guy like a Stephon Gilmore.
I would love it.
Because guys are out there and they're going to see that they need another adult in the room. Mm-hmm. So for that reason and that reason only. And that's my hot take. I don't know that to be the truth, but what I'll tell you is you have a lot of rangy, young, physical, and talented corners in that room. The Cameron Richardson and Jacorian Bennett. Devonshire is a guy who's a ball hawk. You have a lot of these guys, man. And I'm telling you, all they need that can help them become better players in coverage. Jacorian Bennett, all these guys, because a guy like a Nate Hobbs is essentially, he's a corner, but he's essentially a will linebacker.
Yeah. And Graham, I love
the Cameron Richardson, bro. That guy is physical, but this is a guy who I don't even know if he had an interception all last year.
And it's year one. Like we can't.
But I'm talking about in college. He played in the SEC, played against some really, really, really legit competition, some great young receivers that are at the top of the league now. But he's not a guy who was intercepting the football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is something that's a little troublesome for me coming into his NFL career. Maybe he can turn that around and start, getting some takeaways.
Sanjit, what you got, man?
So I'm gonna just rank both the corners and DBs, or DBs in general.
Okay, because I'm gonna do safety personally separately because I have a high ceiling for them. But go ahead.
I think we have a top 7 to 10 unit. I think our defensive backs are legit. I don't think there's many defensive backs that are better than the Raiders. Here's the thing with defensive backs. Bill Belichick's proven this. They don't really matter, right? You can find one wherever, and if you have a good scheme, they're going to have success, right? Most cornerbacks in the NFL are not Jalen Ramsey, where they can go wherever and they'll be good. Majority of 99% of cornerbacks are not like that. Even Sauce Gardner, right? I know he's a talented football player, but he also went to a really, really good scheme in Robert Saleh. Saleh's proven wherever he's went that he's going to have a good defense, can have a good scheme. And, sure, safeties, corners, they might matter a little bit as an individual player. If you have better guys, you'll have more success. Yeah. But I think scheme matters way more. And I think Patrick Graham has a legit scheme. I think he, as legit as it gets, Patrick Graham has it. I think we're going to see it this season. And, Jack Jones, we'll see what he actually is this year. I think he was legit last year. I think he only played 7 games. He had 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns in those 7 games. Yeah. He had a couple of plays that he made that the Broncos play he made kind of sticks out to me. Nate Hobbs hasn't forced a lot of turnovers, which is fact. Yeah. But to be fair, Nate Hobbs has punched the ball out a couple of times over his career. It's something that he's definitely had in the back of his mind that he tries to do. And then I know the opposite cornerback position is kind of up in the air, but we got to remember Ja'Cory Bennett was better than Amik Robertson last year because Patrick Graham wanted him to start over Amik Robertson. And he only got benched because he didn't understand the verbiage. He didn't understand some of the different concepts they were trying to do. And Patrick Graham talked about that this year, right? That Ja'Cory Bennett wasn't necessarily ready last year. And I think from a skill perspective, Ja'Cory Bennett is probably better than Amik Robertson. So even if it's Ja'Cory Bennett, I think we're still upgrading from last year, right? I don't think Amik Robertson is that good. And then, I think you're going to touch on it with the safety because you're saying, you think they have a high ceiling. I think our safeties are legit as well, right? Trayvon Merrick, I think, could be a top 10 safety. Again, it's hard to, we don't watch the Ravens, we don't watch the Panthers, we don't watch, whatever team. So for us, it's hard to say who's the actual best safety, but I think Trayvon Merrick's pretty damn good, right? And then Marcus Epps is pretty good as well, especially with the scheme, right? I think that's the big thing I really, really want to touch on. I think Patrick Graham's scheme is legit. Patrick Graham, similar to Bill Belichick, right? Because I think he coached with Bill Belichick for a number of years. Patrick Graham has that I make defensive backs a little bit better. Like he has that in his coaching tree or whatever you want to say, right? The way Bill Belichick does, he makes defensive backs a lot better. Yeah, Patrick Graham does that as well. So I think the Raiders are going to have a really, really good defensive back unit this year.
Okay. Wait, so you already?
Yeah, I know. Look, I went. And I said what I said, but it's more so, look, what I want people to realize is this has the potential to be what Sanjit says. Yeah. Right? But as of right now, I'm not going to come up here and say, I know that they're going to, what I'm saying? I have full faith that Ja'Cory Bennett is going to turn himself into a starting.
Me too.
And the good thing is having the Cameron Richardson being the backup and being that physically talented. That bodes well for the Raiders.
And Devin Shire, a ball hawk at a pick. Yes.
So these guys are physically talented, big guys. So when you have these offenses that are explosive and you have guys that nobody's heard of that are 6'3", 6'4", running all over the place, you can put these guys and say, hey, man, this is your man. Yeah. Erase him. So you might not get an interception, but we're not going to, be made to look bad in certain situations that we were last year because of Amik Robertson's lack of size.
Yeah, what's interesting is I think even last year the Raiders defensive backs were legit. All right, I think it's because I've seen a lot of people post this on Twitter, and I've seen some people make YouTube videos and kind of talk about it in their videos as well. A lot of people say the Raiders defensive backs weren't that good last year, but I 100% disagree with that. I think the unit was really, really solid. One of the things people don't talk about is we play the Chiefs and Chargers 4 times a year. Yeah, school the numbers versus. Yeah, if you're the 49ers and you don't have to play either, in your 17 games, you don't play Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert 4 times. Yeah. Statistically, you're going to be better, right? And I think the Raiders' defensive backs are a lot better than they get credit for.
I only rank the corners that low because, safety room, I think this can be a top 5 unit.
Yes.
Merrick and Marcus Epps are both on 1-year deals, right? They'll be free agents. They're going to go out there and fight for those new deals. We got Trey Taylor, who I love a lot out of Air Force, who he's probably going to get his bread and butter in special teams, early on. We got Chris Smith. I'm hearing a lot about Jaden Grant. You guys, I've said this a million times on the show, and Trey said this to me behind the scenes. And Jason, you're in the chat. Jason Hunter, man, was with me with Trey Taylor. He said that Jaden Grant is making noise. Another guy, and then Palomau, 6'4", lengthy, a guy that's going to be playing all over the place. I think that safety group, it can be a top 5. I'll say at basement, top 7. Yeah. So I'm only ranking the corners in that 25 range because I need to see Jacorian Ben. I need to see it. Jack Jones needs to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. Brandon Faison needs to be able to stay healthy. You were on the IR all year last year, right? And then Devin Shire and Richardson, 2 guys I like a lot, but they're rookies. How much are they going to see the football field this year? You know what I mean? So that's why I rank the corners so low. But that safety group, man.
It's scary, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. The collection of defensive backs are greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from the perspective that Sanjit's looking at it, and like now Graphk is doing, right? You're melding it all together.
Yeah.
Now we can take this defensive back unit and now we can place it into the teams.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, at least the middle of the pack, DB unit all together for sure.
Yeah, DB unit, middle of the pack, freaking in the 15 to 12 range. Yeah. Because of all of the talent in the safety room, because a lot of these guys are safeties, they're just athletes. It's kind of like playing college football back in the day. You remember when you would do a dynasty with college football and you'd have the guy you'd be recruiting, athlete. These are the kind of guys we have, man. And I think that's what's going to happen, man.
And we'll wrap this up with the kickers, right? It's just top 3 unit. I mean, top 3.
That's the Raiders. We always have that. That's the one thing that we've never been short of. Even back in the days with Jeff Jager.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love Jeff Jager. JJ was my dog, man.
Man. Yo, he had another powerful mullet from the 80s. Business in the front, party in the back. Shout out to Jeff Jager.
Real quick, I want to get you guys' take on this. I was going to do a live earlier today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to save this for our show. USA Today, I believe. They were the ones that dropped these 2024 NFL projections. They have us at 6-11. And it's kind of weird because if you look at our schedule, I don't want, there's no gimme games in the NFL, right? You guys, like any given Sunday, but I can look at six games right now and say, I think we're going to win those. Like easy. I think we can get those. 6-11, y'all. They have the Chargers at 9-8. They're always, off-season champs. They always have these guys winning more games than what they do. I agree with a lot. The Niners, the Chiefs. I mean, these guys are perennial playoff Super Bowl teams. The Cardinals 7-10. I mean, the Seahawks had a really good year last year. They're 5-12. I mean, what do you guys take from it? They have the Jets winning the Super Bowl in 12-5 after Aaron Rodgers, a 40-year-old guy, is coming off of an Achilles injury. Sanjit, how do you feel about these projections right here?
It's definitely interesting. The Jets are an interesting team because the Jets have kind of went all in.
Yeah,
this year. They got Tyron Smith, and they even drafted a tackle in the first round. That's gonna, I guess, be a backup this year, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I hate the Raiders projection, man. 6-11. I don't know, man. We played the Broncos twice. That's 2 wins right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what? Carolina,
right? There's teams like that are not good. I don't know. I mean, people are gonna always bash the Raiders until we go out and prove it. So. Yeah. There's nothing you can really say about that. But I disagree with it, man. I really think the Raiders will be better than what a lot of people are saying, right? And a lot of that's going to come down to the fact that, you look at those 9 weeks that AP was the coach for the Raiders last year, right? Or the games that he was essentially the coach for us. If we had top 15 quarterback play, we would have won 7 of those games.
Yeah.
Right? We had a rookie quarterback with no experience. A guy that was a 4th-round pick. He wasn't even a 1st-round pick. That was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
Right. And this year, he's going to be going into his 2nd year. And if he doesn't win the job, then we get Gardner Minshew, who, I'm not a huge fan of Minshew, but I think he's better than what we had last year. Right. And I think if he does his job, we should be able to win, 9-11 games. Defense top 5. Maybe we win 11 to 12 games. All right. I think it's possible.
Yeah. What you got wasted. And remember, last year, man, a few of those games, that Miami game could have went either way.
Right.
That Vikings game, that was nasty, but we should have won that game. The Colts game could have went either way. The Chicago Bears should have never dog walked us like that, but that was Josh McDaniels doing. You know what I mean? Right. we could have been in the playoffs last year if Josh would have been fired earlier. I think that Detroit game was very winnable, and this is a team that was in the NFC Championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, Wasted, what you got, man? How you feel about this whole thing? The salute to Indiana.
Yo, shout out to who did it? USA Today?
Yeah.
Shout out to them. I'm glad they did this. I'm glad. And you know why? Because, we got a guy that is running this organization in Antonio Pierce. We got a guy that's running a locker room with Max Crosby, that they're going to take this and they're going to put that shit up on a bulletin board. And it's going to matter.
Yep.
They're not running away from the smoke. They're not trying to hide. It's things like, I love this shit. Because the Raiders are going to shock the world, and they're going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go on record to say that. And I know a lot of and I really don't give a shit. A lot of people say, "Oh, they're just Raider fans and they're fan content creators and they're always positive," and that's not true. My football opinions and Sanjit's and Graphk's are based and shrouded in reality. And the reality is that people are buying way too high on the Chargers. Yes. We might sweep the Chargers next year because this is the first year of a new regime. Now, you do have a really talented Justin Herbert. You do. I can't take it away from him. But they've lost a lot on the offensive side of that football. Yeah. They've lost a lot. Who is he throwing to? They have some concerns on their offensive line, right? And then you have a Khalil Mack who, let's be honest.
I mean, they got Slater and Joe Alt. They got two anchors on that O-line.
Yeah, but they have rookies, right? They do. You know what I'm saying? And you have Khalil Mack.
I like Zion Johnson, too, the Boston College kid. I like him.
I was so rudely interrupted, Graphk Raider. That's what's going on here.
Top 10 offensive line right
now. I know. That's why I was like, what is Wasted talking about? But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, you have a Khalil Mack who is a guy who is getting older. And you have a Joey Bosa who's a guy who's perennially hurt. Right. You have a lot of guys who are very injured. Now, look, I know Zion Johnson, but they have concerns from the perspective of you can't always think that rookies are going to come in and play up to where they're going to be. Now, is Joe Alt going to be a concern his second year in the league? Probably not. But initially, we're playing them early.
Yeah,
we're playing them early, and then he might get his welcome to the NFL moment.
Oh, he will
with Max Crosby. So this is what we're talking about here, right? So they might not win one game versus us. That could be 2 wins. Denver, until proven otherwise, needs to beat us. We've owned the Denver Broncos, right?
We will remain doing so.
There go 4. Then you talk about the Carolina Panthers. There go 5 right there. And then now we're off to the races. The Jacksonville Jaguars, man, they're no world beaters.
No.
Trevor Lawrence is coming back from an injury. That team has gotten worse. Yo, listen, I got 7 right there for you. Yeah. And then, I think there's something about our style of play. They say styles make fights.
Give us at least one.
Give us one against Kansas City. Because the way we play this game, those divisional matchups matter. We're not allowing them to walk over us no more. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, and this is not just coming from some optimistic bullshit perspective. We are gonna go out there and we're gonna kick people's ass this year. Right. I'm not talking about in the box score. We might win by a touchdown, 3-4 points, whatever. When you play the Raiders this year, you're gonna know you played the Raiders because they're gonna go out there and they're gonna beat your ass. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna beat you up this year. That is what I'm looking for.
Physical team. 100% agree with you, man.
Salute to Indiana, man. Gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network membership. Salute to you. You guys got anything? Let's get a few more questions in before we get out of here. A little bit over now. I got to take my son to football practice here in a minute. But get a few questions in, you guys, before we get out of here. Salute to the chat, y'all. Make sure you guys hit them thumbs up on all 3 channels. Subscribe to all 3 channels. Yes, that was the Wasted we were looking for. Not the Wasted that says the Chargers offensive line is ass when they're a top 10 unit.
I didn't say that they're ass. I said they have concerns because they have young players.
Let me ask you the question really quickly. So AP said that the decision at quarterback can be made between him, Luke Getsy, and Tom Telesco. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think Tom Telesco should have input on?
No, not at all.
I agree with you 100%. That was weird that he kind of said Telesco because it should be just AP, right? And then, of course, since Luke Getsy's running the offense, you want his input as well. But I don't know. I found that kind of interesting.
I think that's him trying to build that connection with Tom Telesco in year one. Him saying, this is a unit. This is the brain trust. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to include Tom in all of this. I think, to be honest with you, AP definitely. It's going to be Getsy. I think Joe Philbin's going to have some say because, I think this guy can get it done for us. I don't think that Tom Telesco is going to have anything to do with that decision. I think this was a situation where it's year one. Let me build a rapport with my guy and show him that I trust his wisdom when it comes to football. Wasted, what you think?
I think he's going to have input. I think, he's an elder statesman in the National Football League. He's a guy who's been responsible for bringing a lot of talented quarterbacks into this league. He's a part of scouting a lot of talented quarterbacks. He's a guy who, when it was I'm old enough to remember when it was an argument whether they were going to draft Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf.
That's a gimme though.
No, it wasn't really a gimme at that point. Like Ryan Leaf, there was really people were like, yo, who is going to be the number one pick? I'm old enough to remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? So you get a guy like that that's been involved in a lot of big quarterback decisions. I trust Tom Telesco's vision with that. And if you look at the way most organizations are run, the GM definitely has a say in who's the starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So Antonio Pierce being a rookie head coach, right? I'm glad that it's a consortium and he's not going to go out there and maybe in his ignorance, maybe pick the wrong guy. I think the thing that's going to make Antonio Pierce a great guy is the people that he has around him until he gets to the level of being, that Mike Tomlin kind of coach.
Yeah. I just for you to draft a guy or go out in free agency and get a guy, I think Tom Telesco, he's going to be a major part of that. I just don't know how you can have any say in who you're starting at quarterback.
Do you think that Howie Roseman has any say in that?
I mean, but Howie Roseman has earned that. Tom Telesco, don't get me wrong, I like Tom. I'm not taking away from him.
How has he not earned that? He drafted Justin Herbert. He drafted some damn good quarterbacks.
Yeah, and hasn't won shit.
Yeah, but the thing is that we're talking about evaluating the position and having a guy who can play the position.
Bro, he's not a Howie or a John Lynch, though. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying that as a whole, no. But the one thing he's done well is evaluate and draft quarterbacks. He's been a part of a lot of that. So to me, why would he not have a say in that position? Now, come on, that doesn't make any sense for him not to. I'm not saying he has the final cut, though.
No, I know. To be honest with you, in a way, I definitely agree with you. But I just think let the coaches make those decisions. That's what I personally think. But hey, you could be right. Salute to 10 Commandments. If we have a losing record by the trade deadline, would you trade D. Adams? What does a losing record look like? If you're still in the hunt, you don't trade your best player on the offensive side of the football. Now, if it's clear cut that we're not going to make the playoffs and we're already out of it, move on. That contract gets worse the next 2 seasons. You move on. You get whatever draft capital you can. You stockpile talent. You go get the draft picks. You get your quarterback next year. Yeah. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely
agree. I like Devontae Adams, but we got to be realistic too.
Yeah.
Look, he said it and he said, yo, listen, I want to be here, but yo, I only have a certain amount of time and I want to win a Super Bowl. Right. So it'd be the best thing for him and this organization. And the thing about Devontae Adams is, you're getting no less than premium draft compensation for him and a lot of cap space removed at that point, because you got to set that contract so where they take some of that contract and so that makes you viable and it gives you the kind of war chest you might need to move up to make a decision that you might have to make if we're terrible.
Because you can watch. What if Buffalo is just overperforming and they're one of the better teams in the league, but they still need another receiver? Or if there's another team out there like the Jets, let's just say Garrett Wilson goes down, but they have a great record. It makes sense to make that move for them because they're in win now mode, and we could take advantage of that war chest of draft capital, like Wasted says. So, Top, I think we need to hear from Coach Gruden. Yo, you crazy? Salute the Top Beats, my guy. I think we saved that one for the Graph and Wasted, or the Wasted and Graph show. Yeah. When Group pops in. Y'all got anything to say on the way out, man?
I'm good, man. I'm excited, man. Football, real football.
Yeah.
Real football, man. It's coming.
And I think in the next week or so, we'll have more to talk about in terms of what's going on the field. We'll actually have some film to go off of. We'll hit more news. I think today was like excitement, but there's still nothing really new out there yet.
Well, one positive though is the PUP guys got it got put out there, and we got 3 guys that are obviously on there for the Raiders. There's one guy that's not, man, and that's Colton Miller. So that's just kind of good news as well.
Yeah,
definitely. It's funny. We go live, and Christian Darrisaw agrees to a 4-year extension for $77 million. So he got cashed out. Let me get these 2 supers in before we get out of here. We all sleeping on Brandon Facyson. I don't think we are. Look, he hasn't been a great player by any means up to this point in his career. I think what is Brandon, like 26, 27?
Yeah, he's been like a guy who's made a roster every year.
Yeah,
but he hasn't made any real serious impact to where we're sleeping on him.
Yeah, but I like Brandon Facyson. Don't get it. I would love to keep him around as a veteran presence in that corner group. But my expectations aren't that high for him because he's never been that guy, even in Indianapolis. And then the year prior with us, I haven't seen enough from Brandon Facyson up to this point to sleep on him. Salute to Chris. He said we need a Brock Bowers.
Out of here.
Other than that, y'all, salute to the chat, man. Thank you guys for pulling up, as always, to episode 2 of the 12 Personnel Podcast. Once again, next week, we'll have a lot more to talk about. By that time, they're going to be out there full force, getting it in, pause if necessary. Other than that, subscribe to Sanjit. Subscribe to Wasted. If you're not subscribed to me yet, hit that subscribe button. And once again, thank you to the greatest chat in YouTube history for adding so much value to this show. Other than that, man, we love y'all, man. We appreciate you guys. And we are out. Let me see. Boom, boom.